Hey everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nisse and I'm goddamn frustrated because I love making a final zoo tour in my zoo live. I couldn't do that last or the time before, I don't remember, because of I didn't have time to get all of the videos of the habitats out before the DLC and the update and all of that. So I was so looking forward to doing this time. And if you were there earlier today, you know what happened. And it was a shit show. And yay. So that's where we are. So I'm gonna record it all, and I'm gonna record it all. Like I would do otherwise. So I will talk to you guys and such, and basically do what I would do live, but without any questions or live chat and all of this. So I'm a little sad about that, but I will try to keep the smile on my face because I'm really frustrated right now, and I try to forget how frustrated I am. So let's get in, and it is of course Backyard Zoo, and the idea was of course this where you buy an old farm on the country, and from there just like get one animal just for yourself and another one, and people come and ask if they can see your animals, and at some point it will grow into a zoo. So I did a few things that I normally wouldn't do in a zoo. One is animal ethics. Haven't looked too much of that. I also haven't been working too much with realistic zoo stuff. And we do not have an actual zoo entrance because it's just my backyard. So that's where we are. Again, you can see here, this is more like the backyard zoo part, and I think when we get over here it became very much like this is for money. It needs to look pretty, everything needs to be planned out, where all of this is just the edge of the old road and stuff like that. So shit, I just pressed something wrong, I guess. Interesting. But we're gonna jump over here. So yeah. And let's jump down here. And as I said, we do not have an actual zoo entrance. I know the live stream did get through the first few habitats, but I will try to do it again. It's just so we are all on the same page. And I know a lot of you don't watch live streams, but it will be basically the same thing. I will try not to edit or cut too much in it, because then I can't get it out now. And I think a lot of people want to see Planet Zoo stuff here before the DLC, so I will prioritize that. But this is our wildebeest habitat. We have the black and the blue wildebeest. This is started just after we got the grassland DLC, so of course all of the grassland DLC animals are in here. We also have some white ones, as you can see. We have actually 3 enclosures in this habitat, where you can see, for instance, here where you can cut it off. This is, for instance, if you have females that are pregnant, you can isolate them, you can take the males out of the group, or you can simply sort them into subspecies if it's breeding time and you don't want to crossbreed them. So we have 3. We have the small one out here, and then we have probably the biggest one up here. It goes around the corner and in, and then we have one lane all the way back here. I tried to keep it very much like this is just for hobbyists. This is just for someone who wanted these animals, had an old stable, and just like, what can we do? I didn't want it to be too African Savannah. I just wanted it to be an old stable built into this, and I think I managed that very much. And then we of course have all of the fields out here. Going in here, a lot of old farms actually today in Denmark have this stable door sales where you can just sell things. Most of the farms either just put a cart or out by the road where you can go and grab stuff and just leave money. That's a thing we trust people to do in Denmark, and it works. Just leave money in a thingy, just put money in, take the things you want, no one keep an eye on you. That is something that I'm really proud of. That is a thing in Denmark for once. But bigger places do actually, some farms go to together, so it can be things from multiple farms, but only sold at one farm. And this could, for instance, sell, especially because we would at this point have a lot of people from outside. So we would be able to have them farms, local farms, have honey, vegetables, maybe fresh milk, whatever, homebrewed meat and such, and sell that here at our shop. So they will get a higher price than they would if they try to sell it to a market or something like that, and they will not have to lift a finger basically to just sell it here. So that's something that I really wanted to be a part of this. And then just a nice little seating area that is a little closed off. Well, it was in the beginning, but I also have the guest limited to 500, not to have any or too much lagging. So if we had a full zoo of guests, I'm pretty sure this would be quite traveled. Here we have the old farmhouse. I will say though that it wouldn't necessarily be in wood. It could be in wood, but it could also be other things like limestone, chalk, concrete, and such, depending on when exactly it's built. Another thing is also that it would actually be a closed up building, so this building would continue around the corner here and close up this road. But what we have done over time is that most farms only have this kind of entrance, and then either you would have like a garden in this corner, or you would also have this closed out. So you would only have this, and machinery nowadays are much bigger than this hole. Therefore, either people have broken down this piece and removed it, but because the road here is an old road, it's a small road, what you do instead is actually find another place where you cut out a piece and make a wider road. And because we have an inn up there that already had a road, then you just continue the road past the inn and get into here. So it would technically be a public road, but people wouldn't have any reason to go here before it was a zoo anyway. We have all of our facilities here. We have the quarantine, work shop, and animal store. And then we have the what's it called, veterinary area. What I also said in the live stream earlier was that this window probably would be a bad idea because we don't want people to look in. The other side is fine, it's just out to the enclosure, but on this side it's a little weird. And then of course we have used the house as a, what's it called, a staff room, which you either could do. I feel like when the zoo had grown this large, maybe we would have moved, because I wouldn't like to, didn't, you don't even have a private garden anymore. People are walking all the way around your house at this point, so I think you would have moved. So in here again we have the wildebeest. They have 2 talking points, so they can be talked about each. Initially I thought I could put the entire zoo on one tour. You cannot do that. Well, you can, but your staff will become really tired. So I think I have 7 tours or something like that. So I will tell you what's on the same one. In here you can see it's also cut up in 3. So we have this that was the small one out here that can be cut up there. Then we have what it was the large one that can be cut up here and there, of course, also. And then we have the last one in here. This one is a little more isolated. Of course, the guests can see from in here. But going in here, you can actually go out the back and the only way the guest actually can see the outdoor area is through the windows or the doorway there. And it's actually also go behind the other enclosure out there. So it's a very much peaceful one, for instance, for smaller babies or something like that. We have a lot of big doors in here, and that is on purpose. That's something you did on old farms. Even though it is, well, normally you would have a door in it, but again, issues with that in Planet Zoo people. But the thing you did was basically to have open doors. I worked on a farm in 2015, which is relatively newly. And my boss yelled at me because it was winter, it was cold. I have just fed the, what's it called, baby cows. And what I did afterwards were leave the stable and close the door. Luckily, my boss went in to check after because it was one of the first times I have done that on my own. So he went in and checked. And he got so mad that I closed the door. Wait, I didn't understand. It's cold, it's winter, it's freezing degrees. But the thing is, though, you need fresh air to circulate. You have a lot of these small calves in here, and they exhale a lot of humid air. And if they are locked in there for a long time with that, and here it would be overnight, so it would be a long time, then they can get a oh, what's it called? It's something people normally get in the winter. It's not a cold. It's like with the lungs, because you get that humidity down in the lungs. That's really bad for you. So that's not a good thing. So therefore, you would always leave the doors open so they get that fresh circulation of air. And therefore you would have a lot of doors in an old stable. The windows, those would not be this big probably. Maybe if they were a horse stable or a cow stable, they would have the bars, but they would have been much smaller, the windows, and therefore wouldn't be able to let enough air in and out. This is also not the structure you use for a hay loft or hay roof in, or straw roof. I'm not sure. In Denmark, it doesn't work exactly like this, and it doesn't look exactly like this. It would never look this yellow, for instance. But at this point of building this, I didn't have all of my prod mods updated, so we couldn't use them. I have a building later, I think, where you can see what I would actually have the color being. We have a few things over here, but I feel like we should end over at the castle. So we will go in here. Again, this is the big road, and this would end out in a bigger country road that probably at some point would lead to a highway or a city or something like that. But as you can see, no other humans inside up here. It's just country, country, country where I would love to be. Here we have the most zoo like real zoo like habitat I probably have in the zoo. It is real much like made for the guest and not for the animals. The animals have a little, it's of course for the armadillo. They have a little over here they can hide in, but otherwise go inside and hide. Which again, armadillos can be quite shy. So therefore it's not really sorry, just checking it, the software still works so we don't run into that again. But sorry. But you can see the guests can get pretty much a big chunk, got a lot of good angles on it. And it's good when you have a lot of guests at the same time that they don't have to stand in line to watch the animals. But it may stress them out a little bit. Yeah, I used the borrowed inside to make this work, but the thing is, though, a zoo would not, definitely not backyard zoo, so we imagine that this is just inside of the house and not inside of a burrow. the rooftop up here is also very much in mind that it is Denmark. We have a lot of rain. We are not England, but we do get a lot of rain, snow, and so on. So we have the glass up here to protect for that, and also to let sunlight in, because it can also get dark quite early, especially through the fall and the spring, and of course the winter. But at the same time, the wood, make sure that you have a nice little shadow, because in the summer we can also get really, really hot. We are one of those countries with a lot of difference between summer and winter, so you need to be prepared for both. Uh, the foliage I will talk about when we get out on the other side, but as you can see here, yeah, this wouldn't happen if in real life. This is because these I only could build these segment square. Oh, here we have the little thingy, the little armadillo. Oh, I'm not sure all of my animals have babies at this point because I have a lot of animals. So at this point, I just turned off aging, turned off sickness, turned off everything. Oh yeah, and there's a window. I forgot this earlier too. Sorry. Over here, so you could actually spot a part of the habitat from in there, but you can only see like half the habitat because the wall is so high over there. And as I mentioned, they do not really have any real privacy because of this. So the guests. Oh, think we have a baby over there somewhere. The guests can pretty much look all the way in. The armadillo do use these, but they also use the other road. The other road should actually be a door, but again, inside of a habitat, if you place a door, the keepers can't get through it and they cannot use these. So I needed somewhere they could get out. You will see that in a lot of my habitats overall. But that's the armadillo habitat. And I really like it, and I really like that I was able to. I know it's not the perfect match between these wall pieces and this barrier piece, but I actually think I got a good match, and I'm a little sad that you aren't able to save colors as a memory, like save them and use them in another zoo in 3 years or so. That would be perfect if we could do that. Anyway, out here you can see we have another path, and that's because the path out here would be a public road, like a real road where you can drive with cars. But in here it should just be cheap and what would be easy to keep for the family in the beginning. As the zoo or as the backyard grew into a zoo, you would have staff helping with those things. But I think a lot of the zoo have the feeling that the investment would go for new things and not for upkeep. In here we have the spotted hyena, and they actually have 2 places they can hide, and the same you will see with the maned wolf. So they have over here their indoor where the keepers also get it. I know that I couldn't line it up perfectly. I just couldn't. But here's also a big window, so the hyena doesn't get perfect peace in here, and they also actually can see the maned wolf on the other side. Here it is. Yeah, I have a little bit with the textures today, which is funny because this is clearly perfect and this is perfect, but the animals looks a little funky from afar. I'm not sure why. Anyways, down here they have perfectly peace. I wouldn't have built this hill as high. You see, if you really cring yourself over here, this is the furthest you can see. So if they choose to lay in this side of the cave, they are still perfectly hid. The hill up here I wouldn't have made as high, but it really need to be thick. If I every time I try to lower this, and you will see the same with the main wolf, it disappeared. So I needed to have it that high. I think probably I would like to have it this high. So I would like to have it higher than this, but not this much. Though I think the flowers helped out a lot with not making it look really like brutal in a way. Um, yeah, again, I will say that weirdness going on here, that's my computer. Um, I can't say more than that. I'm sorry about that. Oh, I just were afraid there. Anyway, all of these path system here in the beginning on what we built first is the same that we have out here on the side of the road. It's the same plan. Sometimes we have a little patches of, for instance, these. I do not remember what they call, but in general, it is everything you can be lucky enough to find on the side of a road in Denmark or a country like Denmark. So they're all temperate and they're all European, and it's just have been allowed to overgrow. Again, many of these seeds would have arrived here naturally because they grow naturally a lot of places in Denmark, and then it would be overgrown because again upkeep wouldn't be where we used our money. In this case, our money would go to new things. I did have a plan of having a small viewpoint here initially into our Australian area. But then they wouldn't use the better viewpoint I have over here, and people only had the bad viewpoint, so I chose not to do that. Going around the corner here, we will not go all the way down here. I will try to get around everything without walking the same places twice too much. This is again the striped hyena, and their tour point is placed over here. I placed it forwards and backwards a little bit to make sure that I could get it to work with the throwing of meat. It lands roughly around here when they do it, and it works perfectly fine. They have the toys and their enrichments over here to motivate them to move as much as possible. I think they're actually placed up here, but then falls down with gravity. That's how gravity works. They have their own little leg, and I initially planned to make it really like smooth and nice, but I really liked that rougher version of it. This was a hassle to build because I placed most of these individually. You can see here on this straight part, I could, well, hate when that happens. Just a second. Anyway, you can see here some of the places I have copy paste a few of them, but when you get to the end or a specific bend, you need to do it individually, and it does take some time. Anyway, moving on, because I don't want this video to be 7 hours long. Probably YouTube want to make all of their checks, and that's becomes an issue. There's a small viewpoint over here. As you can see, it's not the best. You cannot see a lot, but it's enough for the guests to say, oh, there's something in there I really want to see. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't, but you can definitely see there's something in there and make you wonder, okay, what could it be? Then you will move longer way down here. Again, we have a lot of benches. That's not normal on a Danish country road, but yeah, I have a grandma, my grandma died last year, but we brought her everywhere we could, and she got really tired real fast, so there should be a lot of benches for that. That's just a pet peeve of mine. So here we actually use a lot of the same features as we did for the... Oh, is that being so noisy? That's weird. Anyway, as we use for the striped hyena, again the same house, the same cave, and the same up here. I do like reusing things when it makes sense. It doesn't always, but in this case I feel like it did. They have the water hole back here. They don't use it for much more than water or for drinking, so therefore it didn't make sense to make it like a centerpiece. And we have a lot of beautiful water areas in the zoo that we got later on, so I do think it makes sense to just have it back there. Back here we have the big road, so therefore again there could drive trucks in, especially after hours we want food to get in here for the animals, trucks can drive right by us here, and we have a thick vegetation back here. You will also see that later. And then these giant fake rocks, it would probably be, to make sure that these will not be stressed by it. They are quite beautiful, and here you can really see them run, especially sometimes I think in the cinematics for the speed build, I actually got them just running around here like uphill, downhill, and it really looked great. We have the inn over here. We'll get inside the inn later, not now. But this building choice is very much what an inn would look like. I did think about making some wood pieces, some dark or wood, black or dark brown around it. But honestly, I chose to leave it there, and I'm really happy about it. We have the stained glass, and then we have the bricks down here that I do not believe would be bricks. It would be these concrete blocks that I'm not remembering what's called in English. But it is concrete blocks that you put together. So instead of actually making something completely in concrete again, it would be a really old inn here that have been restored. So therefore the fundament would have been the original. And I believe you would have used these blocks because they would have been much easier and cheaper to build with back then. And a lot of inns or old farms actually have this where they would have a storage underneath. And this way you could drive down there with a horse carrier or a truck nowadays. Actually have a hill going down here. So on one side it's 2 storage and on the other side it's only 1 storage, which I do believe I reflected very well. But we will see the inside much later. Again, here we have the talking point. The main wolf and the striped hyena are one tour with other animals, but the wildebeest and the armadillo is another tour. Yeah, they're not same size all of the tours, but we will get back to that. Anyway, continuing down here further, it's the last habitat we will look at this way, and then we will go back, because then I don't think we have to go back and forth to the same place later on. Oh, we have a talking point here over here, so we're just gonna go downstairs so we don't interrupt that. So up here we have the meerkat and the warhawk, and that is my Timon and Pumbaa habitat, because this is again my childhood dream. Who wouldn't want a Timon and Pumbaa? I kind of wanted a Timon and Pumbaa and Simba habitat, but I'm pretty sure my parents would have stopped me. So they have down here this little area, and they can both get back down both ways. I did actually want to make it up here like a small hole for only the meerkat, but that's not how the game works. So I needed to make it this big entrance. We do have some albinos going on, and yes, I don't think I actually placed any toys down here, but they are clearly falling through. You can go up and down on both sizes, and this you shouldn't look at. It's the pathing system making something weird. So we both have an animal talking point, as you can see here, and it's because this is the meerkats, and over there we have the warhawk. They of course needed the mud bath, and I will say, pro tip: if you don't want your warhawk or wildebeest or whatever using the mud path to get too muddy, you can simply just place them a centimeter underwater, and the water will clean out the warhawk or wildebeest or elephants or whatever animal would use it. It's something I like to do, but I know some people like them looking muddy, and for one reason this is looking muddy. I'm not sure why. But in most cases, it do work. But as you can see here, it's on top of water, and here it's underwater, so that may have something to do with it. Up here you can actually get really close, but the guests will not be allowed to stick their fingers down. And in hindsight, we probably should have placed something in between here to make sure that the baby meerkats don't squeeze out. But again, that's in hindsight. It's often that I find something with my habitat that I kind of want to go back to change, but I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather just try to remember and then change it next time. Also because you can use so much time going back on your old habitats to fix things. Yeah. Okay. On the other side here, I just wanted, and this is actually a African flower bed I made over here, where most places outside of the habitat I stay with these natural growing things that different kinds of plants that would grow already in Denmark, but here I decided to actually go with African plants outside of the habitat, and I think it works also because it's a closed off flower bed, so you would be able to keep it up real easy compared to if you just put it on the ground. This is also lifted up. You can see it here. And again, they can run up and down both places, so even if a warhog wanted to run after a meerkat, they can run in a circle and don't get what's it called, captured in one specific corner. I'm getting really, really dark in my face right now. I'm not sure why. Anyway, this is the same route. I didn't mention that the tour is the same as the main wolf and hyena, and so is the African lions that we have in here on the right. You will not, I think you will not. Well, there you actually see a corner of the habitat, but in general, you need to go in here to actually see them. The tour here will start and end at the end, so they don't start all the same place, the tours. And I think it would be a good way to people go in there to eat, and they can go there and such. Anyway, we can both go up and down, and I can say they're going up, so we are gonna go down. And we are talking about the first mod today, and oh, where's my notes? I forgot to open my notes. Oh no. Here we go. African Lion Remaster and New Variants is the mod's name, and it's by Havoc, Tosca, Gaboy, and Narwhaler. Yeah, I feel like we need to credit them. I will not credit all of the prop mod builders because there's a lot of them currently. Just assume all of them, and I have a playlist specifically with them. So yeah. But this is the African Lion Remaster and New Variants, and they are all from Nexus. I have video on all of these mods individually. I will probably not remember to put them in the description below, but they are all on my Animal Mods playlist, and they should be searchable. Wow, we have a lot of lion currently. I didn't think we have that many. As you can see, we have some white, and we have some different colorations also just in between them. They are beautiful. I would love if some of them would turn around. Maybe you can, so we can get a good view. They are quite beautiful. I really like this remaster, especially because it takes away that cartoonish nature that the ones from Frontier have. Anyway, all of this is one-way glass, so they cannot see us, but we can certainly see them. They have this grassy savanna out here on the back. We have a more rocky area here with the water. I did want to build them a actual pool because I didn't want them to get too muddy in the fur. We have this beautiful rock mountains behind us, and down here we then have a more foresty area because lions do also live in more foresty areas, though I didn't make it too thick forest but enough to give them a good shadow and something nice to smell at. And especially since we got the smelling animation, I do not remember which DLC we got that with, but when I placed these plants they just all ran down here and I really do enjoy that. The room itself down here is with stone. Stone do keep really cold if it's in the shadow, which this is, so it would be nice and cold down here, but still dry, which again help with the climate we have in Denmark. Let's go upstairs, and I'm not sure if I actually can, because sometimes when we have a path on top of a path, this kind of camera will screech down. Just like that, okay. So we're gonna cheat a little bit with that. So you can see up here, that's where the talk will be going from. And again, here the same forest. Up here we do not have glass. I hope the people up here is adult enough to keep their hands inside and not drop any food. They're coming out, guys. I really love these lions. Oh yeah, I have updates. It's not for this video, but I have updates about the Ukrainian lionesses in Denmark currently that have been saved for war. And I have good news this time. I wait for the entire story to evolve, but this far it looks real good. So I will get an update on that as soon as I get the entire story, because I currently feel like there's more. This up here, I actually thought about what I would do with it, and I think it's just what it is currently. That's the white one. Oh, it's feeding times. Then let's just see them go out and eat, I guess. Only one hungry. Okay. And of course they have some enrichments also. And I love when animals can swim, I love to give them enrichments in the water. Even if they just bump into it, I just still feel like the idea of them playing around in the water with the toys, it's really intriguing. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that this is 2 different colorations. And I really love when the mothers make them really close, so it doesn't look like it's on purpose, but it does look like they are a little different. I really like that. I have a lot of kittens in here at this point. Just checking if I can fix the light a little bit. Oh. Okay, I think that helped just a little bit. Ta-da! Oh yeah, guys, if you like my new profile picture, I really hope you do. I drew it myself. It's not perfect, but I really like it. So yeah, and up here we have some table settings. So up here you could sit and enjoy your lunch, more so than you could downstairs. And again, we have this rooftop with both the wood to cast shadow, but the glass to keep out snow and rain. Oh, and then down here we also have 2 tables again. I hate when zoos don't have enough tables. Like, we most of the time bring our own lunch, so we need a nice place for us to enjoy it. unless zoos decide to actually have like reasonable prices on things, I really think they should. Make sure there's not a lot enough, or make sure there are enough tables. Anyway, we get back down here, and again, if you are not sure where we are, you can see the tower down here. Again, we have the striped hyena here, and the armadillo is over there. So we're going down this thicker path, and a tip is always make a too big path so you don't get issues on it. I'm really bad at it, but I really try to remember this time around. So in here, it's our Australian outback patio, I think we're gonna call it. So I wanted this to be a more family-friendly area. Again, you can bring your own packed lunch if you want to, and there's something for the kids to do. We all know when you are someplace with kids will just throw down the food and don't really care to sit down more than that, and parents would like to just take a breather when they eat. So over here we have the emu, kangaroo, and this should be the redneck wallaby that also were from the last DLC. I think I only put two tour points here, and I do believe they share tour with the armadillo and the wildebeest, because then they could go from the entrance and then down to and in where we have a food corner. We actually only have we have one in and one food corner. We don't have a lot of those. Anyway, here they are. And once again, I have no idea what I did with the patterns out here, but I kind of like it. I kind of hate it. I just feel like we're just doing this. Again, they have the water area here, but since none of them actually are like swimmers, they do not use it. And then this is the same building as the armadillo are using, which I also are quite intrigued of. I did start out with just placing animals in the beginning, which is what we would have done if I have decided as a kid. But when it gets more technical, when you get more to the point of it being an actual zoo, I think at that point you will start sectioning in things. So now we actually have a Australian habitat. You can see here we have the foraging thingy that I covered partially. We also have food enrichment here hanging out. I actually placed it inside of the building so it's sticking out and just looks like it hangs here. And we also have food enrichment placed vastly around the habitat. And this is my most issue habitat that I get alarms on all the time. Because either it's too small because someone have given birth, or they all did because it would have been nice to make it a little bigger. But I still do enjoy it very much. And I do like the fact that even though you only have one viewpoint, you can see 99% of what's going on. And I feel like that's real nice. And the water is hidden here. So, yeah, I think we're gonna move on. We can go out to places. I'm just going this way to show you something. Because we will get back here later on. We have a staff path down here. This was actually the mountain you could see before, the side of that. So we have like the first part down here and the other part down here. So it doesn't touch even though it looked from that angle like it did. And then we have two habitats here that we will get back to. For instance, the king penguin and our boobies. But we're gonna go this way, and this is the other way we could go down. Here you can see the foliage start to be a little more intentional. We still have like whatever it would like to be out here. But in here we have like these flowers is definitely placed on purpose. Then I'm not sure which way to go. We're gonna go this way. And this is this is something that happens a lot. I do try not to let any of the animals die out while I'm building the zoo, but I am at the point of just thinking that maybe I should just let them die out on purpose and then go through all of them afterwards, but I'm not sure. So this is of course the platypus. And initially I would not have that sand in between here. I would like to have water all the way around, but that's not how the game works. So they have this little house, and this rounded structure I use in 4 different ways. We already seen one, which was this one that I copied and used the exact same one over here. Then we use it in this. We also use it for the king penguin, kind of, because that's only half around, and we use it down here for the koalas that we will take a look at. But that's just a way of showing how you can reuse the same things without actually like just doing the same thing. I did choose to put a lot of rocks here, and I do really like the way it looks. They have this kind of slow angle down here where it's really soft and it's easy to get out here. You are lifted up from the main path down here. And then going around here, we get to the glass wall where you can look under the water. Again, it is platypuses, and I think seeing them swim is a big part of it. So even though they have the house, they can go in there, they can hide if they want to, but they can definitely also just swim and have some fun out here. And I think that's a lot of the fun for the guest. Once again, I just pretend you didn't see that. Are you sitting on top of the water? That's new. That's new. But again, platypus, we are in Australia, and I didn't want to make it too much anything. So what I did around here, I think we will go around afterwards to see here. But as you can see here, we lower at this part than the main path. And then when we get up here, we will be higher. And the platypus is kind of the end of the Australian habitat this way. Or the Australian area. So over here we still have more Australia. We have a lot of these. I'm not gonna fix them all, to be honest, because after this video I will be done with this zoo. And I love being done with the zoo. It sounds so weird because I love seeing other YouTubers that go back to it also. But personally, I'm just happy and fulfilled, and just I did that entire thing, and it's done, and it just feels great. So here again, the main path go down to the koalas and end with the koalas, but we're gonna go in here. Again, we have 2 entrances. We have a lot of empty screens, but this is the door. And looking at this picture, compared with the fact when I go in here and show you our doll, we are still on the same tour. Well, if it would move around, I think you can see real easy that this is a remaster. Again, remasters do not add anything new to the game. They just change something that's already there. So for the game, this is the doll from the game, but the physical appearance of it is just changed. And the mod is called Yusuri Doll Remaster, and it's made by Gaboy. Gaboy, very good modder. I think he focused most on graphics, like changing the appearance or building something new. He also makes new mods with um, other modders, but I think the only ones he makes on his own are remasters, as far as I know, and they are good. 99% of the time, because I don't remember all of them. So the Yusori doll here do have two distinguished part of the habitat. They do also use the end of the same building as the other Australian habitat over here and the armadillo. But they have two very distinguished feelings of habitat, because if we go down here, I don't see them down here, sadly, a lot. They are kind of discreet. They go out to eat and then back in. I don't see them run a lot, even though all of their enrichments are over here. But doesn't seem to be a priority. Quite beautiful. And I know most people would like to get really up close and personal, but for some of these animals, I think it's better for the animals to have this distance. They can actually get down here to the water. We have water all the way under the building. So if they want to get out in the water, they can get closer, but they have this opportunity of staying away if they want to. We have a lot of them in here at this point. They went down here going for the water. So, yeah, anyway, and the inside of it is a complete copy of the other one. Then we can get out here, and the main road we just were on ends over there, so you can just go around here. So in here we have the koalas, and we have two of them. And we have the Victorian koala and the Queensland koala, and they're both mudded. We have the remaster that is changing the ones from the game, which is the Queensland koala remaster by Gaboy. And then we have the Victorian koala, which is a new species mod, and that's made by Leaf and Gaboy. So they actually have the habitat in here, and to explain it, I actually kind of want to cheat, because I understand if you didn't see the speed build, I make a lot of them, so it's fine. So I actually just made this round building. As you can see, it's completely round all the way around. And then I made a bigger round building outside of it. So the koala habitat goes all the way around here. All the way. And then everywhere where we have either the guests can go, or we also have a staff path behind it. We just have these so they can climb over. And I'm so proud of the idea of this. And I feel like I must have stolen it from somewhere, but I don't remember where, because I think it's a really good idea, so I feel like it must come from somewhere else. They're very, very cute. I don't remember which is which, but if you see them side by side, the two koalas, you will not be... you will definitely know what's what. Yeah, so in here, it's our only actual food corner, and we have 2 drink shops and 2 food shops, and this is for staff path behind there. And then we have the spider roof up here, which I also really like. It's a little spidery, but that wasn't the idea, but I really like the way it looks. Anyway, we're gonna go out here the same way so we can try to look through the habitat, because it's easier to see from out here, I think. So here we just have a lot of foliage to cover, because that's the staff path and the staff buildings behind here that you can't see. But again, the koalas can climb over there, so they have a sleeping area out there. There's really not much. There's some planks they can sleep on, some straw, and some dirt on the ground. That's pretty much it. So they have different smaller, like they can get all the way around, but they have different biomes in the different places. So this is more like open field. There's not a lot going on, but it's just a nice field, peaceful place. Over here, on the other hand, is the more tropical version of the habitat. We have a few going on here. We have a climate there, and we have one sitting here. So this should be the more tropical feel. I tried not to put too many trees in here because it is limited which trees were small enough to not go through the roof. But I tried to put in with some green rocks and flowers and such to give it this different feeling. And again, there was also flowers over there, but it's different flowers. And then they have their water here. The food I need to place where the keepers could get. So this actually go all the way around. This is the same one. They don't get up anywhere in between here. And before you reach the staff path on the other side. So the keepers can therefore go all the way up here. So we have like food here. Then we have enrichment like toys there. And toys in the next one. And then sleeping and food here. We need some keepers in here. And then the guests can go all the way down here. You can see there's a natural cutoff hiding the staff path behind. The staff doesn't need this path, but I just like the way it looked, to be honest. And this also do if you need to carry something big back here, because you will have all of the staff area. So if you need to get in here with something big, you can certainly do so. But I still chose to plant all of these plants back here. So even though it's only staff here, they still doesn't disturb the koalas against the opposite. Koalas need to sleep a lot. So you can see we have the peeping hole here. And here. So there's a few places where the staff can see them, but not that much. And you can see here, this is all they get back here. Nice, peaceful. So it's both to make it peaceful, but it's also to not make them want to be there more than that I have to, because I want them to be out front in front of the guests. These trees are primarily just to make it look more enclosed from the guest side. I really wish this walking thing had like a speed up and speed down button, because sometimes it's too fast and sometimes it's simply too small. What did I just click there? Anyway, what I just forgot is the outside here of the platypus habitat. As you can see here, platypuses are really hidden away from the main path. People will have to go out there. Again, it's enough for a person to say, oh, there's something over there, but what is it? And want to get in there. And again, if you have a screaming child out here, it will not disturb the platypus more than it have to. And it just, again, went with this kind of natural growth of things that just have been allowed to kind of overgrow things, but still try to trim the purple flowers that kind of symbolize this part of the zoo. Anyway, you can see here now we are going on the tour of the water. So this is the longest tour I have. And it starts here and going up here to the salt. What just happened? Anyway, hopefully nothing important. So before we turn to the habitat, here you can also see the platypus. We have the dole, we have the koala. We have the other Australian habitat over there. And you can still see the tower. And that tower is important for me. You can see that. And I will talk more about it when we get there, but you will notice multiple places around the zoo where you can spot a straight line to that tower, and that's on purpose. So, that was nice of you to be up here. This is the saltwater crocodile. We have a few crocodilians in here, and I actually had a few more I wanted to put in here, but I didn't want it to be a crocodilian habit or area. I wanted it to be aquatic. So they have this nice little closed, and here you can see why we have all of these big trees around here. They kind of close off the edge. Once again, we reuse the same idea of round habitat with this same wood as we used in the Australian habitat, but we also, with the building, clarified that we are doing something different here, which I really like to like. This is the part in between because saltwater crocodiles do live around Australia, but they live in a lot of places in the Pacific Ocean. I don't think I have a remaster on the saltwater crocodile. No. The next animal. Yeah, I really like these flowers. They're beautiful, but I wish we had more different kinds of flowers that we could put up here. Like we have these and we have another purple flower. Like give me some pink, give me some yellow, give me some red, something to change of the color scheme. Normally I have a lot of babies in here, but doesn't seem like it. And I feel like it is forgivable that it is kind of hard to see the saltwater crocodile over here because we go straight into the Tomistova. And the Tomistoma is something that I didn't plan for. It's just like I saw it. I made a video on the mud and I was just like, I need to know more. So I went to read a little bit about it and I was like, I need to build for this. So I actually did that and combined it with my need to put more water in here. So I want the taller water. So therefore I made it multiple waterfalls. I think one is raised by 1 meter. And I think I have 2 of them, so it's 2 meters taller after this habitat. They do live on these partially in water and partially on these sand banks or rocks around the water. That's mainly where they live. So I wanted to keep it really clean. It's gorgeous. Oh yeah, it's made by Incognito and Leaf. And it's a new species mud. They have the same house here at the saltwater crocodile. It just feels like it's fitting in well. We still keep the same wood down here, but we go away from those round habitats. Going a little further up here, you can see this is kind of the middle bridge. Whereas there's not a lot going on, just a bit of traversal area. And then up here they have the mud bath. Again, it is covered by water so they don't get too messy. And they primarily swim up here. It's also where I have their underwater feeder to kind of get them to move because I know they will get inside their house. I don't know that they will go down here. So that's where I focus all of the enrichment. Again, we have the platypus over here, and you can see all of this foliage in here. Down here, I have the same. The idea was that I wanted these because this is the Asian and Australian part of the water, and then we get to different part of the ocean when we get further down. But I just feel like the color scheme and it just works, so it shows to use them all the way down. But only on this side. Anyway, this was the end of the Tomistova, and again, it would be wonderful if I could have used another color flower here than the saltwater crocodile. And again, another for the Asian small clawed other than we have over here. Okay, I think we're gonna go around. What are we gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna go around up here first and then we're gonna go down. but now I get stuck, so I'm just gonna... So the Asian small-clawed otter down here is very cute if you ask me. All of these water habitats in this in here have underwater viewing. The ones on the flat parts out there do not. Which I kind of want them to have and kind of don't want them to have. So yeah. But here we are clearly in Asia. Again, same tour as the other water animals. They have this bridge going out here, and the building is the same design as we had for the crocodilians over here. Again, Asia and Australia, I know it's not the same, but it is adjacent with some things. And I am not that much into architecture that I could say specifically this is an Asian building, this is an Australian building. I would have an idea if it was a modern building. But yeah. They do not have the biggest habitat, but it's clearly big enough for them. And then we actually just have a rock path over here, and that's because the keepers can actually go under here. I thought that would be easy to build. It was so difficult to build, but it works, and I love it. So that's the important part. Over here, we have a lot going on. We have our fishies. Or full aquatic habitat. This is the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where you really want to go deep inside the ocean. There wouldn't be a lot to see up here. In real life, only the turtles would be able to go up. But let me just find them. Yes, we have 5 animals in here. We have the swill shark, which is this fellow here. It comes in 2 color variations. I do not remember if it's gendered, but this is the redder variation, and then we have a more grayer coloration somewhere. It's made by Leaf, Buffsu, and Beyond Blue. Then we have the green sea turtle, of course, that's getting up here. Again, the only one that should be able to go on land. It's made by Leaf and Aurora Design. Then we have the Humphead Wrath, which is a big fella, and I really can't see it, but it's really big. I think it may be... Yeah, it's coming up there. The big fella here. It's a big fish, and it's a actual fish compared to the 2 we just talked about. It's by Leaf, Bosu, and Mored Interactive. Then we have the spotted eagle ray, which of course is the stingrays up here with the spots. They are made by Leaf, Bobsu, and Chester. And then we have the silver moony. That's... I stopped breeding them because I had so many of them, but maybe that was a mistake. We have one over here. It's the smallest fish we have in here, and it's by Leaf and Buffsu. They are all saltwater animals, and they are all from the open ocean, primarily around coral reefs. Most of them do live in the coral reefs. Sea turtles are wanderers, so they swim through these areas with coral reefs. And shoal sharks use them for hunting grounds. Stingrays also use them more for hunting grounds or laying on the bottom around them. But especially the silver moony use them as their home. And you will frequently see all of these fishes around there. Again, the 2 fish that you didn't see the great picture of this too. This is a... Ooh, we have another food corner. I actually forgot about this. But yeah. We will get back there when we go underneath there. Anyways. This is the common short-beaked dolphin. And So the short beak common dolphin. It's made by Leaf, Jin, Bavsu, and Ariga. And they shouldn't go on land. I just thought it would be nice that there was this platform where the keepers could go up and like do tricks with them and stuff, because that's something I would want to see as a kid. I'm not a fan of it as a adult, but as a kid I would love it. So yeah, there's not a lot to see up here because I want people to see them down there. Kind of like with the other. I did change the water off a little bit here compared to over here, because this would be like the warmer tropical close to the island water, and this would be more like open ocean. Over here we get to the American alligator, and it's also a remaster. Why didn't I put these in order? There, American alligator remaster. By Incognito and Narwhaler, and there are so many beautiful colorations of them that I just can't get enough. And you can see we have one here that's not albino but have spots. We have one that's albino. We have this thingy going on that I'm not sure completely what is. We also have a few of the normal colorations down here. There's also a yellow one that I didn't get. And here you can see the water is of course more muddy. Over here we go to something new with the house. For instance, the dolphins didn't have a house at all, because I thought they were kind of on their own with that. And then over here we get to Americas, and therefore we needed something different with the houses. And I think this is what we were getting at. This is, as you can see, the same roof that was on the wildebeest or the main buildings, but the color is different, and that's because these are mudded, so they are recolorable. So this is the color I actually wanted over there. And they have a actual mud bath, where the most of the time when I use mud bath, I try to camouflage it so it looks like it's just mud that appeared, but here I wanted it to actually look like they physically put a mud bath. Also because, as you can see, it is rocks all the way around. They do not have any ground besides just back here. We're gonna skip that habitat for now. Yeah, we are. I should just think that through. Anyway, we are going down here. Just changing to explore. Look. And here we have some gardens. We have 2 gardens in here. And we have some other gardens in here. Out here, I wanted them to be colorful. I wanted it to also be a color change, since you come out there from these pink and purple colors. So I wanted that to be dragged in here, but also break it up with the more darker colors here, which I think I managed to do quite well. I really like that. Anyway, let's go back here to the American alligator. I will show you in there in a minute. Sorry. So we have, I think, 3 windows for the American alligator. And this is primarily because I love the view of underwater animals swimming under things. And around things. And that's why I did this. I did use a few corals in here, not a lot. You can see we have this going on here. But I did want this to be really muddy and mushy and give more like an idea of they're there. And especially because we have the white ones here where you can see those very clear, but some of the other colors we cannot. I will go through the corals in a minute. But I have used them a lot, so don't be careful. Oh, this is not the albino. We have an albino. We have a white that are spotted. And then we have this pale pink color also. I forgot that. And here we have hidden a underwater feeder. So this is the dolphins that you didn't see before. And again, it was the short beak common dolphin. I really do love them. They are so beautiful. And they mean, yeah, they just I just love them. They're pretty. Um Here you can see some more of the corals. I used 3 different, not mods, but workshop items, so you can download them yourself on Steam without actually getting any mods. And that is totally okay with Frontier compared to mods. So I used Cece's Aquatic Plant Pack by Cece's, and I use water plants by, I don't have who's made them, I'm sorry. And then assortments of corals by Acriartist, I think. They are all linked on the video, on the speed build. Then we have this down here. Ooh, I just want to show you. And this is probably my most people-filled place in this entire zoo. We go for this, again, wood to stone, which should tell people that something is happening. I needed to empty the zoo when I did the cinematics for this. Again, this is also corals. You can see all the way here. And this is... Sorry. This is from the aquatic plant pack, I think. The same with these also. And up here also. And these are also corals, and there in the back is also corals. I do like to make the water. It's exactly so you can kind of see there's something in the background, but not really see what it is. That's the pigmentation of water I want. I really do enjoy these. And they're also just so pretty with the yellow and the paintings. And I actually figured out that this is the painting that is officially recognized as the painting or the pattern that this dolphin have. But there's countless observations of them with all kinds of patterns. Which I kind of find interesting. Let's go around here. I think from over here we can get a good view. And this is also the side of where the sun comes from. So the habitats on this side are easier to watch into than on the other side. There, because the sun is in the background. I do apologize for that, but that's because we are in a temperate zoo, so the sun is really low. And then we just have the beach over here going up, which in real life would be mostly just used by the what's it called, by the keepers to get up and down. So you can see we actually also have a yeah, I keep getting the alarm that I had no gift shop, so I needed a hat fantastic. And then here and a few tables also. Over here, we have something quite magical, and that is these. I did show in the speed build how I built them, but it's basically just 2 screens. You can see here it's actually mirrored. It's 2 screens and then dropping in a picture. I didn't get these pictures myself. Sorry, I just had a cat being noisy. I didn't make these pictures myself, but I did download them on Nexus. But they are not a mod and should not be installed like a mod. I have made a video specifically on how to download these kinds of packs, where to put them in, and I really recommend you go watch that if you want to use this, because you can use them so beautifully. It's a pack with a lot of backdrops, and all of the backdrops are mirrored, so you, for instance, can do things like this. It's called Do Tribis Aquatic Background Pack by Do Tree Freaks. And I actually did it twice. So I have this picture here, but I also have this picture over here. It's the same I actually also did in my old mud zoo over there. I also done that. This again is the Humphead Wrath we have here. And again, we have a lot of the corals. Again, the same 3 items I have used. I did try to place a lot of trees up here so we get some shadow down here, but it haven't been perfect so far. I wanted this very, very little here in the middle so they can swim around and swim really low in the water, but then have a few more things here. I have nothing placed here in front of them besides stones is the only thing laying here. The rest is the backdrop that, again, is just a screen with a picture. Here is also quite low, but we have more like plants under here. These are, of course, from the game. And then again, the same coral packs. I just didn't use the same corals, but I did use the same packs in every habitat, pretty much. So here I wanted something tall so they will swim around it. But the idea is also that the smaller fish like the silver moony or the baby sharks could actually live in here and have a little home in there. I also just love using this tree. You know it. I would love to have multiple variation of it. Maybe have one that's less tropical. Maybe have a bigger, a smaller. I just love using it. So I want more of them. The stones up here is actually, you can see here, they can swim under, and that's how they get into the house, where the the habitat gate is actually at. And once again, I love to see them swim around things and under things, so I also needed to have that in here. However, if you come from the other way around here, you would, of course, get... Can I get through here? Yeah. This view of the habitat, where you have this feeling that is an extremely deep habitat. I think this is one-way glass, and therefore you cannot see into the restaurant from here. We also have another window over here, but you can't really see a lot. But you can be lucky to get... Could you imagine just walking here and then something like a green sea turtle comes around the corner? Anyway, I said I would show you these in here. Yeah, we need a lot of trash cans. And these are not for guests. These are not for guests. These are just so the people working in the zoo can get in here to clean up. I didn't want this specifically to be tomatoes. I wanted them to be these small... I'm not sure what they call, but the flower is red like this. And then it looks like a little lantern, actually. So I had the idea of it would work like that. Again, in here, it is all temperate AOP. Not necessarily European. I think I did take some American and South American inspiration in here. And I did the same on the other side. It does not look the same. Most of the things are, but for instance, here we have the olive trees. But the tomatoes around and the foliage on the ground is the same. And it's most so that you don't feel like, again, we have, if we go down here, you have a path there, a path there, a path here, a path there, and a path there. So I didn't want people to have this feeling that people are just looking at them, looking at animals. So therefore I just wanted that. Oh, shit. Over here again we have the Asian small-clawed otter. Don't have any divers on this side. And I really wish that the sun wasn't that a big issue. So I'm just gonna cheat here so you can see what I see. I think it's beautiful. And I think we have a window more Well, two more actually. Um, but if you're lucky, you can go into one of these and see. But it's not the same as actually getting through here. And I tried to make the water so you could, again, get an idea that there's something back here, but you really can't see what it is. But they're beautiful. I love the way the Asian small cloud otters swim. And then the last one is not the best one because, as you can see, if you look straight in here, you just have stone. So you will need to kind of look with the angle. And again, you will need to have one of those places where there's shadow to actually be able to see anything. But besides that, it's wonderful. We just gotta jump down here before we continue. There's two entrances to here. This one we get out of, and then there's another one over here we will get in of in a minute. I just want to show you the king penguin that again uses the same round building that we use for the Australian habitat because they are partially Australian. As far as I remember, you have an underwater habitat here again. And here I remember to put some shadow over it. I didn't remember to stay under it, apparently. But I have some shadow. Let's see if we can do that better. I think that worked. So here we have the... Okay, if you don't want to play with me, then I'm just gonna not play with you, apparently. Oh, wrong. So we have over here, we have the underwater, and they do not use it. I waited, I think, half an hour when I did the cinematics to have them use it, which is weird. But we have a big water area, but we don't have a big deep water area, and this is the only deep water area they have. Because this is the type of habitat I thought was much better than the ones I saw in zoos back then. Back then, what I saw in zoos were a pool and an itch. That's it. Sometimes they had small houses. Sometimes they had one, like, it looks like a house from a pigsty. So that wasn't like too impressive. So as a child, I'm pretty sure this would be much better than the habitats I actually saw in real life back then. In real life today, they will need more water. They do swim, as you can see. We have a much more water area over here and also over there, but it's like shallow water. As you can see, we also go with snow here, and the snow effect is basically just putting stones inside of each other. So we have the tempered stones or tiger stones, I'm not sure, and then the snow stones that you just merge. It works real well. I think it's the best way to make more realistic snow stones in the game. And then we just have two different cannons of snow up here. So we have the... I think one is blowing snow and one is I'm not sure what's... It's two different ones, okay? Here we use these benches. They are... I normally haven't told you about too many exhibit or prop much yet, but this is a product map and I love it. Normally, I won't use it because it looks a little iffy, especially with the green. It's beautiful with the green, but it doesn't look like something a modern zoo would like to have because it looks dirty. But I really like it. I really like it. Over here, we just have a little place for to get some shadow again and away from the rain and snow. Out there we have some water. We will look at that from the other side. And here you can get all up close and personal with the penguins. And here you can see this water again. It starts really shallow and get deeper. Um, I really like this habitat. I'm really happy about this habitat. It was easy to make sure that the staff could get all the way over here and still make sure the water could get as close to each other as possible. So even just if a penguin over here jump in the water, then the small wave would be enough to make it cross. But I do like the end result very much. And again, penguins are some of the animals I think most people really want to get up close and personal with. So I made sure of that. We have another way in and out here to the main path. And it's for some weird reason not a habitat that a lot of guests choose to get in here and look at. Which is weird. I put this mirror mobile here to hope that they would get over here. They can get over here, but I haven't seen them use it a whole lot. Over here we also have plants under the water, some places. Here, over here we have a lot, but most of the places it's just like small patches. Oh, you're getting over here. That was nice of you. And I just wanted this to be a playground for the penguins more so than just a home for them. But you're not gonna go for the mirror thingy. Nope. Okay. We can continue around here, and the way down is here, but you can get a little bit further. You probably won't need to. I didn't mention before that the talking point is over here, of course, in the shadow, and it's with the water tour. But I think the tour is like it takes all of the water over there and then go back, and then the booby, and then the penguins. But I'm not completely sure. Anyway, this is the place we've been before. Again, here, that was the start of Australia. Australia down there. And we have the striped hyena and more animals over there. And once again, you can see the tower. Over here, we have the boobies. The boobies do not have their own side path. They are out to the main path. But I feel like they can handle it because they have plenty of ways to go away back there. This is one of the habitats that took me the longest. I think I used 2 hours only on the stones and an hour and a half only on the plants on this. I sped it up a hell of a lot in the speed build. I really did. We have 3 animals in here. We have the red-footed booby, which are these fellas, the blue-footed booby, that are these fellas, and the Galapagos giant tortoise, because we are at a course of the rocky mountainside out to the ocean coast of Galapagos. We don't have any babies because they died out before I stopped breeding. We also have a white one in here that is the official color. That's actually funny. It's the official color of the red-footed booby is the red variation, even though the brown variation is much more common, but you initially thought it was 2 species instead of 1. And therefore the red white one were the one that we knew were the red-footed booby, and the brown one you thought was something else. So that's the original color, is the white one that is more difficult to find. As far as I remember, the blue-footed booby lives in most coastal area in most parts of the world, where the red-footed booby only live in South America. I think that was the right way around. I'm just looking for my booby notes here. That was lemurs. There, blue-footed booby is a mod made by Leaf and Jen, and the red-footed booby is also made by Leaf and Jen, but also with phonetic. I tell you guys, after I had built this habitat, I was just stunned. I wasn't mad at it. I really liked it, but like I was so tired. I need to build something that's have no water, no stones, and almost no plants. So I think that's when I made the lemur habitat, I think. Which were all plants and water. But yeah. But as you can see, they can get all the way around here. Not all of the animals in here actually like walking on the stones. It should in real life only be the tortoises, but in game the birds also have issues with it. But they can get their 4 ways inside of the mountain, and then there one way around here, split into 2 ways around, and then there's staffs back there. They can walk through the water, which is nice. And then they can walk all the way up here. So probably the barrier should be a little taller. But that's pretty much it. Anyway, we're gonna go in here again. This is the other way. It would have been nice, though, in hindsight, to line it up. But I built the other way around, so I didn't count for it having to fit anything over here, honestly. So we're gonna go in here, and here you can get this idea of we going for deep purple to the pink purple to the more pink to the red. And this is empty, and it have been so for the longest time. I don't even think under the cinematic I got a single animal in the water here. It is the American beaver and the raccoon. And we are, of course, at this current point in North America. So we're gonna swoosh over here, because when we get up, that actually doesn't make sense, because I'm pretty sure that when we get up here, it will not allow me to go over there, but we're gonna try. Also, I could not get this without the bend. I'm sorry, I tried. But again, up here we just have a lot of benches on both sides. Just sit, relax, get a breather. Again, you can see the koalas. The water area started down here, so we haven't actually gotten that far away. And that is a way I like building, that everything is actually still pretty close. Like, we just keep coming back to the same place. Which is the center in here, basically. Every road leads to the same place, basically. Though that's gonna change back here, but it's something I really do enjoy. Yeah. I got stuck there, so we need to use the other camera for a minute. So again, North American beaver and raccoon. And what I actually really do like is that all the way here from the the American alligator, you can actually sometimes see them running here behind the glass. But they have the same leveling system as this Tomistoma. Tomistoma. But they do not use it as much. They primarily stay down here. I thought they would automatically get here because it was the deep one and they wanted to deep dive. But they do actually primarily stay in this one down here. And I have no idea why. They cannot deep dive down here at all. But here you can see we tried to make... I initially wanted it to be like this rocky beach. But then remembered that they do like foliage, especially the raccoon. So I just dropped in everything after that. And I actually really like the result, even though it's not the habitat I planned for at all. And I just love them when they walk up there. That's really something that just makes me happy. Yeah, moving on. Sorry, I just got stressed. I have 15 minutes to... My mom just lived this. 15 minutes is this, so... I'm so lucky to have a mom that wants to still make food for me. But, yeah. Anyway, here we have the capybara habitat, and the capybara, of course, needed some friends. So that's, of course, the giant anteater and the tapir with the name I cannot pronounce, but it's the South American version. Um, and I know I wanted to build for the capybara, but I also knew I wanted them to have a nice pool of water, but not necessarily deep water. And that's also why I chose to put this change in here. Here you can see we are straight across from the booby habitat. Sorry, I've been talking for 2 hours straight in a minute, so yeah. Up here we have a lot of the enrichment, especially food enrichments, the same here. But I have been careful because everything we could place in here would basically just fall down. Everything here is leveled, so up here is the same leveled as all of the other habitats up here, but everything going just straight downhill for there. I did put some mist on the water. I think it gives a nice effect, especially when the capybara is just like in there. It's an animal that I never heard about before Planet Zoo, but I really grow to love them a lot. Do not eat that. That looks bad. That really does look real bad. And they have two entrances. Again, there's a lot of animal in here, so in case one wants to chase the other, they can run in one way and get out the other. I wanted to have these patches of different colorations in here, so we have that going on. And besides that, I just wanted to really give this feeling of now we are in the tropical part of South America. So over here again we have the boobies, but here we have the last habitat I built for this zoo. Not this last video, because I got mad at the jaguars because I had issues with it. But this is the African elephant, and I have space issues here. It is just big enough to 3 adult elephants, and that means when I had babies in here, it was too small. But I love it. I really love it. And it resembles all of the elephant habitats I knew as a child. They were too small. They have this where the elephants just have kind of dug a hole in the ground. They have rocks, and some of them had water. And that's what they have. It wasn't the most typical habitat I ever built. But it really resembled that a lot, and I really like it. It's really something I'm really proud of building. Yeah, just really happy with it. And this idea that you use foliage to actually keep the guest away from the actual barrier. It's something I just have seen in a lot of zoos growing up. I don't think we do it the same way anymore. Again, I don't get out that much, but besides that, yeah. Oh, he's a big fella. And babies are just so cute. I'm just in love with them. Anyway, I forgot to tell you before we went back over here that you can actually see the jaguars. I did actually make a note of that in my video about the jaguars. But you can actually see the habitat already here. There is space in between there and there, so they cannot just... Maybe it's not enough, but they cannot get out here. Don't worry. They cannot get to the capybara that they do actually eat in real life. So, but we have the water view. That sometimes there's someone here, not right now, but when they are, it means a lot to the guests to see these big cats swim. I don't know why, but it's just funnier to see a big cat swim than a big dog. Then over here we have another view where you really can get an idea of this endless big tropical forest. Ooh, we have someone moving there. We have something on the move. And that's really what I wanted to give the illusion of, so I'm really happy with that. Okay, that enrichment is placed in the back of the habitat. So he's been carrying it for a while, I think. Anyway, we're gonna go up here to the jaguars. And here you can get a better idea. Up here we have the cave where they live. And this is the platform behind here where you could see it from over there underwater. Going up further, you get a really good view of something and a really bad view of the rest. As you can see here, there's multiple things that you just can't see. There's big plants, there's trees, but you get a good view here. You can move over here to get an even better view there. Then you get a worse view there. You can move over here. You get a better view there, but not here. And the same thing over here. You can get a really good view of in there if you get like work for it a little bit. And the same over here. But if you want to see something over there, you need to not stand on the table, but move over here instead. So I think you can get a good view of most of this habitat, but it's not like getting a full view in any way. I thought we saw a baby over here. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I think I saw something move before. Wow, my voice is killing me. But yeah, it was the last video I uploaded, but again, it is second to last. Oh yeah, here we are in the African road, which is not the same as the main wolves, the lions, and the meerkats. But this is actually this is the end of this route. So you have here, there, and then you comes from over here. So I'm gonna explain as we move on. But I did figure out that you could color them, and that helped so much. Moving over here, we have the Western chimpanzee, which is not the same as a chimpanzee. The chimpanzee is what we also call the common chimpanzee, but the Western chimpanzee have been debated if it should be a species all on their own. In this case, I do use a remaster called... I'm looking for it. Chimpanzee Remaster and New Variants, and made by Gabor. But he calls it chimpanzee and not Western chimpanzee. So I think what he does is taking the Western chimpanzee and change it into look like the normal chimpanzee. But I did in my speed build focus on the Western chimpanzee, and if you haven't seen it, it's really one of those you should see because there's so many interesting things I never knew about these. For instance, that it have been debated if they are their own species. They may have evolved their own ritual and or sports. So that's kind of intriguing. Yeah. Over here, I still wanted it to be very foresty, but not too heavy. I wanted big trees that they can climb in, but not so many so you couldn't see it. So we have a big climbable over here where you clearly can see all of the things. And I have this big hingy dingy that they do use a lot. And I think I'm gonna use that with the next DLC, I'm just saying. But of course, they can climb up in one tree and over to the other. It is a little thing again to make them align perfectly, but I'm really happy about that. We have spread out enrichment throughout the entire habitat. Again, we have glass walls over here. Some people, so we also want people to be able to see something there. Western chimpanzees do swim. These do not. I don't know why. They have a house underneath us where they can get in down here. And it is the size of this complete building. It's just dirt and straw. Going back down here. Doop, 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 doop. You also get a really good view, I think, of most of the habitat. And we have actually cut it off here. There is more habitat behind here, but that allow you to actually hide. and the keepers can get in and out without actually having the guest focus too much about it. You see the tour comes here. We do not have a tour point here because of course it is placed up there. This would be the perfect place if they actually did swim, as they should. Sorry. And you again give this idea that, yeah, you can see rocks over here, but in general you just have the idea that there's just plants forever going on. And that is also because of the fact that I placed these giant trees in the background all the way around, so it just feels like you are in the middle of this giant forest. Here you can also see that there's something in there, but you're not allowed to see it. But I think these two places are currently, because they don't swim, most interesting as at feeding time. Sadly. Which isn't that often. Anyway, back to the elephants on this side, and dab 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 dab. Still beautiful. I would like to have the animation of them just pushing the or kicking the sand with their snabel and kicking off sand. I would love that. And still you can get the illusion that you are real close to the animals here, but you actually still have a good distance. And I think it's partially because they're that big that it just appears that they're closer, but it's also because you have these different levels in here so they can stand on different heights. We also have an indoor enclosure for them, and they are the only animal in the zoo that have their own house, I think. Like actual built house. It is a house that can be split up because, again, the male will not walk with the females through parts of the year naturally. So if you have any issues, you can drop him in there in the back. We have the one going here that is the biggest one, I think. Then we have the one out there. You can see the wall ends here. That is the smallest one. And then we have one that is in the middle that you either could use or not use. You would cut it off there if you're only using these two. But you could also, like, if you want to introduce something new, actually use it as it is. Which I like. Over here we have the common warhawk and the meerkat once again. Going in here, we are going into Madagascar. And if we have more exhibit animals, I would have been very focused on Madagascan animals, but we are starting with just African. So over here we have, I think it's a toad. Yeah, it's the Goliath frog. I have no idea where it's there. Okay. But besides that, I have no idea where they are. And on the other side, because there's apparently only one African tropical animal currently, we have the puff adder. Which lays right there, there, and there. I chose the snake over the other simply because there were more of them. So here we also have food corner. I actually didn't know we have so many food corners. That's maybe why some of them never have any things going on. Here we have a breakpoint for the African tour here. So we have 3 habitat elephant, chimpanzees, and jaguar after the break, and we have 2 in front of it that we are gonna see now. But before we do that, this is a night house. So to make it really, really dark, we're gonna go from 1 a.m. Have moonlight in here. I do like to use natural light where we can, but in here, no light. Or no natural light. I did forget actually these had light. I would love if they hadn't, because they kind of break it. But this is our II habitat, and kind of like we done before, we have this. This is not completely round because I put in a flat piece there, and there, so it's not round. But it rounded, and then a bigger habitat that is actually square around it. Because of the darkness, you can't actually see where it ends and where it begins, which I really like. We have these smaller blue lights put down in the ground so you can get the idea of where they... I'm just gonna... just a minute. I'm gonna get rid of these just to have a little less... We still have some light in here, but I think it's gonna help just a little bit. Not a lot. Not a lot. But as you can see here, we have a lot of feeding platform. We have these smaller lights all around, and you can still get a good view of the II. Again, they are nocturnal if they get the choice, so do not disturb them. This is not one-way glass because we do not have building pieces with one-way glass, which Frontier. You just made a toggle for climbable, not climbable. Can we, with everything see-through, make it one-way or two-way? Toggle. We have the water in there. Ooh, we have the little fella here. Ooh, getting up close and personal. As you can see, it's not a big habitat, but the foliage kind of covers the wall, so you can't really get a giant view of that. They have this very climbable frame over here, which is their entrance or exit point to the roof. And that means that they can all climb over us up here, which I find very, very magical. And then they have some ropes up here, some wood up here, so they can get to the trees on either side, getting down here or there, which I really do like. Over here we have a piano, which you know I hate. We have my favorite falling tree. We have AI more there. And we do not have that much more. What I would like to show you is just so you actually can see what I built. Because it is difficult actually building. And keeping in mind that you want to show it off without light. You can see here it looks so much smaller when you can see the walls. And it just looks more boring. I just thought that I would place those lights down there and it would give this mystical energy, which luckily worked. But if the lighting feature was worse in the game, it wouldn't have worked. Again, this habitat could be so much more fun building with anything that comes in the new tropical town, but we cannot count on that specifically. Again, we have the mirror mobile up here to actually make them want to go up there. I haven't seen them use them, but I have seen them run over the roof a million times. It was just something, especially just after I built it, it was really something where it's just, I want this. I want this. Okay, guys. And again, out here, food corner, and then you can continue. I did choose to just make the roof here. I still don't know if that was the good choice. I just thought I would get more sunlight in this way. Going over here again, we had the backstage area back here in between the habitats. And welcome to Madagascar once again. This is our lemur habitat and okapi. And the okapi doesn't actually belong on Madagascar. I just felt like I wanted something a little bit bigger than the lemurs that were walking on the ground. So I just thought that it would be the perfect way to do so. And they do live in really... Oh, sorry, we're just looking at this. This is the lemur indoors. I would love that they chose to be here on this side, climbing around and sleeping in here instead of taking over here where it's the okapi. But that's that's what it is. So, but anyway, the okapi and the lemurs do live in the same biomes and climate zones, so therefore it would still make sense for them to go together. We have 5 different lemurs in here. 2 of them are modded. So we of course have the red rough lemur, the black and white rough lemur, and the ring-tailed lemur. But then besides that, we have the red-bellied lemur, which is modded by Leaf, and the common brown lemur, which is modded by Leaf and Squatch. I think it is. I believe it's the red-bellied we have over here. And I will mention when we... Oh, I think it's the brown common lemur we have here, those 2. I just wanted something that was a little bit different than the things we already have. Let's go out here, and here you can see where the lemurs can climb in and out. Yeah, now there's someone in there, of course. We have fins here, but it's in between the foliage, so it's not that prominent, but it's just to make sure that the lemurs doesn't run through this and over to the Timon and Pumbaa habitat. On the other side, here you can see we have put out a few things in between here, so when the animals go in and out here, they are still a little isolated, so they can peek out without actually feeling like they are overlooked at. However, we have 2 paths here, so we have the straight one over to the bridge this way, and there's not a lot going on here. It's just a more sunlit area. These are custom builds, but they all hold 2 animals, so there are 3 different variations of them. And that's pretty much what's over here. Oh yeah, this, I really like the look of this. Sometimes I build things and I'm just like, it functions, it's fine, it's what I wanted to build. And sometimes I build something and then just when I see it afterwards, it's just better than I thought it would be. And this is one of the things. Again, brown lemur there and the red belly down here. That sounded aggressive, but we have the forage the thingy there. We also split up the path into here. It's more so you can go out here if you want some peace and quiet and just sit here and just sit here on the bench and just take a breather. And the same over here. You can just sit on the bench here. Oh. And take a... Oh, damn it. Not behind the bench, but just sit here and take a breather, and maybe the animals will come. But no promises there. But you could also, and I think most people in practice would choose to go in here, because it's the shorter route, I think. And then you can go up here. It's the first animal talking point on this trip. And we have the okapi going over here. And even though a lot of this habitat actually are path, you can see here we are very close to the path, but choosing this specific path alongside with the fact that you just have the layers and layers and layers and layers of foliage, I do believe that it doesn't feel like it feels more jungle-ish than actually like habitat-ish. There are some places you can see the fence more than others. And these rocks covers the main gate to the habitat over here, so you don't feel like that's right there. It is the inn we can see over here, so we are getting to the end at some point. We have another forester over here. And then you can imagine the okapis standing and eating here. I have seen them move a lot around, but when I turned off sickness, I actually had a what's it called? A epidemic, or yeah, all of the lemurs in here were sick. So I'm not sure how many of them I lost. However, I can at the most have 2 adults okabis plus babies. So that is limited. Um, I just like this one, especially with the vines on it. Oh yeah, and again, this is climbable, so the lemurs will run up on top of your face. I wanted this wall because I just wanted it to kind of look jungle-ish, but still a clear cut off here compared to some of the other habitats where I want to give the illusion that it continues. Here I will make it clear that it's closed off here, and I wouldn't give the lemurs any way to escape. I just needed to have my fallen tree in here, and here we have the barrier. So you actually can sit over here and eat. We will get over there in a minute. And look in here also. For barriers here, I chose just to go with these that are just the ones, the railing that you can just choose to add on when you make the path, so I didn't actually make it. But I just think, besides the way it ends down here, I just think it looks good for this specific purpose. Like, it is clean, it's wood, and the color fits in with the thingy dingy. And again, you cannot really see the patio in there, which I really do enjoy. This is not wheelchair friendly, and I think it's the only. Can I show? Wait, we're gonna do like this. It's the only place in the zoo where a wheelchair will not be able to go. However, you could go just around from out here if you want to get in there. You can go over here. Then we have the meerkat and warhawk right here. Elephant, and then into the house that way. So it's not a long way around if you want to get over there on a wheelchair. However, I don't think you want your wheelchair to get stuck in lemur poop. So probably you wouldn't want to get in here either way. This is the start of the point. And here, of course, we have the lions over there and the main wolf in here. Just to help you localize. And again, benches where you for once would be able to bring a nice back lunch. I feel like this, again, would be an old inn that were either owned by someone else or we have bought it but chose to keep it as an inn. So again, we have the big road out here where the public would be able to come and just use the inn as a normal inn. It's not an inn where you can sleep, but it have a nice restaurant. And I thought about then making some kind of entrance here, but I didn't know what to do exactly. So I chose to do nothing. But you can see over here, you can either sit here and eat and look. Probably do that from down here. Eat and look. Again, lemurs do climb. Or the kids could go over here and look in if they wanted to. But again, I don't want the guests to have the feeling that they are being viewed by guests in a habitat. So therefore, I blocked up some parts of it. And again, you could go the other way around if it's an issue. But it is a choice to take this way specifically. Anyway. Let's go up here. And up here is actually where we have the start of the tour with the lions, meerkat, main wolf, and the hyena. It starts right here and it also ends here. But from here you can also look into the main wolf habitat. But it's not like you don't give the main view, and I do believe that you actually get the feeling of that. That you can be lucky to see them here, but this is not the viewpoint, so you would be aware that if you really want to see them, you can't get over there. You can also actually see the viewpoint from here. You can also see the hyena viewpoint from there. let's get into the inn. I'm not sure if this is something you guys want to see, but let's get in here. And here we have this nice old wooden door, which is actually... Why can't I? Oh, because I pressed something I shouldn't. This is the restaurant thingy in here. And you can see they can also look out through the windows, keep an eye on things, and just see the nice fields in the background. Out here, of course, we have some couches. This was not on purpose, but it's because this snaps to the path. So it wants to sit like that, and I couldn't figure out how to make it not do that. So here we have the restaurant tables, and this, I love this light. These windows are stained glass from the outside. I have no idea why it's not that from the in here. Once again, you can look out to the main wolf, but again, this is not the viewpoint. I don't want people to get in here and just stand here and look to see the wolf. But you can be lucky if you sit here and eat that they will run past sometime while you eat. So I think that was a really, really important part there. You can also look at the humans if you want to. Or the pronghorn antelope there. Then in here we have a toilet. I do not have enough toilets in the zoo. I know, I am aware, and it's an issue. And then in here we also have more windows, tables, and chairs. Some of the windows are basically just out to, again, the side of the road. And some of them are to the habitat, but not a lot of them. And again, none of them have this like best view of the main wolf. It's all like you can be lucky enough to see them there while you eat, that they will run by, but you are not guaranteed seeing them from in here. So you wouldn't just come in here and disturb people eating just to see them. And that was an important part for me personally, that would not become an issue. Oh yeah, and these, I don't know why. I know this is not a European style, but it just reminds me of some of the finicky things that sometimes appears in some of these old inns. Let's go outside again. Right out here, I actually just wanted it to be a parking lot. It wasn't... Well, it could be much bigger, but I did figure that this would also be a parking lot. So, like, cars to one side and then tables to the other. But I'm not sure about that part. That was the idea, but I'm not sure it's big enough to actually have it there. You can get out two ways. That's also a thing that a lot of older inns have. That you can do that. And I think it's just to help out traffic that you can do it two ways around. And again, this is just made to look like the side of the road. And that's pretty much all the way down there. Anyway, on this side, we have our horse habitat. I built this for the... I have it here. Domestic horse fjord is what the mod is called. It is the fjord hest. Did they all die out? I must have some in here. I think... No, we have one here. We have one here. I built it for them because that was the mod I saw, and I was like, I want to build for it. But then I went through and put in some new animals in some of these because they almost died out, and I decided that, well, we're gonna just to have some diversity. This is actually the Przewalski's wild horse. They do actually also come in a domesticated version, so I thought I could put them in here. And then we also have the other horses in here that come in multiple colors and have this kind of shine to them. They are the Akhal-Tech horse, and they are made by Tangara, I think it's pronounced. Again, all of these links will be in their individual speed build videos and their mod videos. The Fjord horse, this one, is made by Leaf, the one that goes down there. We will look more of them, I promise. Anyway, I'm not sure what happens with the camera. It's pissing me off right now. Then a good old farm needed a riding range, this was my try of making one of those. It's probably not perfect, but it's here. Yeah, I turned off this screen because I kept getting alerts because it was too far away from the habitat. That's what happened. That's the issue when you hit something wrong. Anyway, going around here again, we are not on a official road, so therefore we go back to this. But that do actually change over here. I have thought that maybe I should make this just over here, but again, the horses would ruin it. Because, again, me as a child, every zoo I came to, I wanted to ride the horses. If I came to a zoo and there was no horses to ride, I got mad. So of course, there should be that in my zoo. I'm not a fan of it. In general, I'm okay with some times on vacation. My mom have rented a few horses with an instructor and rode around in a forest or something like that. That's great. You have an instructor and it's a small group. But the issue is when you do it in a zoo, there's just so many people all the time and the horses have no choice in it. And when they're done with that trip, there's a new trip and a new trip and a new trip. When we have rented horses, we have done it on official at normal stables. So Dia's horses are going back out to the field to relax afterwards. I just personally think that's a big change. Anyway, so I thought this was a nice thing that you could... Let's try that one again. There. And then I was just in here. Yes. Yeah. So you could get in here and you could put the horse up here. Guests could come in, sit on it, and it would ride with you on a closed range. And it would not be over here. I think like this would be for the private family. Or maybe you would host competitions once a year or twice a year and make that a event for that, but I would not force our horses to do that with strangers riding on them. But then you can get up here, and I really, really do enjoy this. It took so much time. I thought I can put it up a forest in 5 minutes now. It took so much time, but I really, really like the way it ended out. I did only copy some of the trees in the backgrounds that you couldn't really see. Then if you want the short trip, you turn left here. Over there. But because we want the long trip, we're going this way. I did want to make sure that when you ride through, you get some different colorations. Like that was much purple over here. In a second, we get to some yellow flowers. Here there is some white flowers. Here there's more open, more sunlight. Again, different purple flowers. So it change up all the time, even though I know people who wants to ride these horses in a zoo wouldn't care where this was. But I just feel like it's nice, especially for parents that probably want to walk by the side of your kid. That they can go and enjoy the nature, take some beautiful pictures for later. And so we have a little lake in here, and this is where you, if you took the short road, you would come over here. And again, another kind of colorations and different plants once again to make that happen. And then we have some more rocks, but more prominent rocks over here. And they will just isolate. Again, there will be a lot of noise inside of the zoo. When people come in here, whoa, sorry. When people come in here, I just want them to relax and also make so people can actually go in here and just go in here. You don't need to borrow a horse to do so. And honestly, it's a really quick way for a zoo to make money, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think any zoos nowadays offers this, and I really don't think they should. So, again, the horses stable here is really, really basic and boring. So there's really nothing to say about it. But I do think it's really good for this specific purpose. It's the same building over here, just, well, it's the same building style, at least. Going over here, there is a nice little, again, photo option and a place for a nice back lunch. On the left here, we have the springbok, and everything over here was the idea that we would need some way to feed our carnivores in the zoo. So I just thought we take animals that are easy to keep, easy to slaughter, and easy to feed. So for Africa, for instance, we did the springbok, and from South America, we have the llama, and then the albine ibex. I'm not sure where that's from, to be honest. I cannot remember anything. Ooh, new mod, I forgot. The springbok is remastered, and it is... Didn't I write that down? No, I didn't note that. Sorry, I'm just gonna need to check this real quick. I'm sorry. It's by Whaler. And there comes all of these beautiful colorations with them. I think you get 5 coloration with that. Besides the fact that the standard is also just gets so much more beautiful. So really, I do appreciate that. It's real beautiful. I really recommend if you want a remaster mod. Again, still the horses over here. Yeah, I do notice that it's a little laggy, but I don't know what to do about it. We have an albino over here, and I think we have the two. You can see this one have the same drawing, but it doesn't have the white belly that the others does, so that's a different coloration. We also have a dark one, and we have an ultra dark one, I think. Anyway, over here we have the albine ibex, and again you get this idea. Well, probably this wouldn't be there, but I just feel like we never get to use this item, so I needed to use it. Besides that, though, oh, we don't have a lot of them right now, but we have at least 2, so that's nice. But again, the idea over here was to breed food for the carnivores in the zoo. On the other side here, again, that's just the house of the... Oh, I actually did some clever. You can see the house actually stops there, so I just made this extra outside of it where it's only wood. You can see here, you can see right through it, and that's on purpose because the building starts here. So you just have this. So these will not overheat inside of the building. And if anything could happen, the building are protected with the concrete in between. So I just thought that was a little clever. Wow, guys, we come to an end. We are 2 hours and 25 minutes in at least. But yeah, let's continue because why not? Again, we have the albine ibex over here. And then the springboks over here. You can see again, same pieces as we did over with the... They're so beautiful. Look at the fur texture. I know that's not what this video is about, but it's just beautiful. Um, yeah, me 5 years old, always. So again, this wasn't made for showing habitats. It was made for cheap way of producing food. Basically, that's the only purpose of it. But we did make it a little nice either way. However, if I was going for flashy, I would have made these habitat more, just more bigger and more like detailed. Well, I think I got a lot of details in here, but just I wouldn't have done it so basically, I think. Um Llama is the one for the game. And these llamas also get overcrowded all the time. Anyway, as you can see over here, we have the striped hyena, and this is the path continuing all the way down to the king penguin. It is snaking its way down there, and that is especially because you don't go and just look at other people. You look at the flowers getting in front of you, which I think is a nice touch. A toilet. Yeah, and if you think about how many times I have said toilet, that's why I don't have enough toilets. Again, armadillo and wildebeest in there, but on the left, we have the first habitat that I built in this zoo that was only supposed to be the backyard. And that's the caracal. And here it is. They have a small indoor habitat. They actually have two habitats. As you can see here, it's opened over here. So right now they can run in between. They can also be closed off inside so the mom and babies can get away from the dad if needed. But this is much more, I think, what an amateur person who just want to have something at home would build. It kind of is designed after some of these cat. You know, some people build a cat cage outside their house so the cat can go outside without actually going freely, which I don't get. My cat lives very much outside when they want to, and I cannot stop them. But I do understand if you live places where they would definitely die if you did so. Yeah, always do what you can to keep your beloved pets happy and healthy. So yeah, I don't have a lot in here. I gave them a few different climbing frames, scratching pole. I would love they made a smaller variation of this for the smaller animals. Especially if they could make somewhere that they made this in smaller, that was, for instance, for the caracal, but also for baby animals, so the baby lion could use it, but not the adult lion. That would be kind of cute. Yeah, they're just beautiful. And again, this was built after. It's not supposed to look like a zoo habitat. It's supposed to look like something you build in your own backyard. Just here is again the main house. And you can, this is just a path around. There's not really anything besides the trees, but you can see that from the other side. We are just gonna go in here. This is probably the old terrace. Outside here where you would have sit after a good day in the field and sit and get a evening beer, I guess. Yeah, that things happens all the time, and I have stopped doing something about it. In here, it was supposed to be our. The idea was that it should be not a habitat, but be a greenhouse for my dad, so he could just play around with exotic plants and have fun. And then maybe later, butterflies would become a thing. So it wouldn't have been the initial idea. Most of the places it does work with all of this foliage, though there is a few places where you can actually see, if you look for it, that the butterflies clipped through the plants. But I think because it's butterfly and they are so small, I do believe that it's not the biggest issue. I'm just looking for them. We have them here. I have all of them in here, and I'm just using the game's way of... Was that with the latest update that we got that a manager side of it? I really enjoyed that. And you almost, besides the fact that they actually sit on this plant, it could be a little difficult to actually see which plants they sit on and don't, or belongs here and don't belongs here. And I think it just chose tropical plants, so I can see some of them are Asian, some of them are African, probably also some South American. It's just everything I think was colorful that my dad would have loved. And this is just the path you could have walked around. Again, not every person wants to get in there. Again, there would be really much humidity in there, and if you wear glasses, for instance, that can become a hazard. My mom have a hearing aid that can also become an issue. So yeah. And this is the final place we are gonna be. Not even sure. No, I cannot zoom out so we can see it all. That is the top that we have seen from the entire zoo. This was not my idea. I got a comment on one of my videos if I please could make a... I cannot remember if he said a Bandle Bat Castle or Dracula Castle or something like that. And I just like, no, I can't, but I can run with the idea. And that's really, I love you guys. When you add ideas, I love it. And feel free to do so in the future also. But I cannot take your idea and make it come true. I cannot do that. But I can like listen to your idea and then work with it. And that's what I did here. And I really, really like it. I really like it. It doesn't really fit into the backyard 2 part unless if the farm was built after the castle. That is a possibility. But then the farmhouse probably would be in the other end. Like if I haven't built this zoo in between the castle and the farmhouse, that would have made more sense because you would never have built a farm so close to a castle. That would have been this castle grounds right out there. But we have the bats in here. We have this big hole here. And this is stylized. A castle would not look like this. But what castles do have is this kind of indoor gardens. Especially up here in the north. Sometimes in the south they have these with no rooftops. So you just have a garden in the middle of a castle. This is an indoor garden. So there is a roof up there, glass roof. And that's especially in up north here, you would do that to make sure that you could have plants growing through the year. And especially when you were a little rich, you could do this also to have plants for your food times of year that other people wouldn't be able to, so you would kind of have that. This is just a corridor where you again have windows in there. And then we have, toilets on both ends under the staircase. So we have toilets here. Here we can walk right in through. And the idea was that this is not bats that are Egyptian fruit bats. I do not remember what the bats we have in Denmark are called. I think we have 3 different subspecies, but it would be them. Because what's happened is this castle have been abandoned for years. It haven't been taken care of. We bought it, but before that there was a crack in the ceiling. and the bats moved in. So this is just real free bats that already was here when we bought the castle. And then we just started feeding them, which I think is legal. I'm not sure because there is really iffy rules around what you are allowed to do around bats in Denmark. I covered it with foliage again to make this illusion that it was originally a indoor garden, so I wanted that to stay here. But I still wanted to stay with plants that, again, may have came in, the seeds have come in through the bats or in through crack in the ceiling. And then overgrown, and then we just chose to go with it. So we weeded out some things and just let it grow from there. Anyway, we can go in here, and this is actually not the best way to see them, because you can go upstairs, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna glitch through if we're gonna. So we're gonna try, and then we're gonna see what happens. So up here we have a lot of windows. No glass, because why would I have glass? That would be the normal thing to do. I think probably I should have added glass for safety reason. Again, this is only 1 meter high. So you can actually get a much better view from up here of the bats. I really wish that there was a way to extend this box. I don't know how I would do it, but if it was possible to extend the box upwards so they also would fly like all the way up, that would be great. But I do understand, since it's looped animation, it would be weird to pull it up that way. Again, here you can go over, and here you can also... Yeah, it's a little fast because I can't do the normal thing. Then we have the restaurant and the restaurant tables, but this is not the place you want to eat. Clearly, no one's here. I wanted real life candles here because we want that gothic feel. And from here you can really imagine, yes, the forest have probably grown since this castle was built, but you did not want people to build a building right here when you have this castle, clearly. So therefore I feel like it should not be this close. Anyway, we can go up again, but this time there's only 1 staircase, not 2. Yeah, I'm really trying to do this without making anyone nauseous, and I just got nauseous. So this is the roof up here in the back. So there's nothing else up here on top of the bats. But you could, again, if they were, you could extend that flying animation. It would be funny to see them bat around up here, especially in the dark. Anyways, yeah, it's just the same view, but just higher. And I think the place you want to sit and eat is here. Again, the forests block up most of the side of the zoo, but also most of the noise from the zoo. And I think that would be gold worth from here. And then over here you can just see endless fields. That's also beautiful, but I think here you maybe want to have this view more. Anyway, we don't have a staircase, but we do have an explorer, which is, yeah, that would probably just be a ladder or something like that. So you can get even higher up, and we need to get up here to the bell. So, and here you can actually look over the zoo, but up here you are probably so high so the noise will not become an issue. And again, you can look down here if you want to. But I do believe this is the view you were going for. And guys, that was almost 3 hours long. but it was my zoo. And what is really terrifying at this point is that if I actually physically visited the zoo, I would not run through it this fast. I would probably spend 5 the amount of time in each habitat. I would sit down and eat. So I don't think I could visit this zoo and see it all in one day. I don't think I can. I know some people can. My mom could, definitely. I can't. But honestly, the funny thing is, after I finished the zoo, I never went up here again. Never. This is the first time I seen this view. And I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy about it. Wow. Yeah, I'm just taking a moment here. Oh, I'm done with this. That wasn't like I'm done with this. It's more like I can't believe that I did all of this in one zoo without breaking my game. Again, we have a little bit of lagging, but it's not bad. I don't think so. I'm just happy. I think I enjoyed every habitat I built in here. And I think there's small changes that I will do differently another time. But I don't think I made any like big mistakes this time. Which is really, really, really something that I'm happy about. So yeah. Now I did hope making this as a live stream. That wasn't possible, sadly. But I really hope you still want to watch this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. And I really hope you will tell me in the comment section below what you think. What was your favorite habitat, and is there any speed builds that you didn't see that already, or that you haven't already seen, that you really want to go back and watch because of this video, because of what you saw here? Did you think that I should have run through the zoo faster, or do you think that I should have taken more time? That's the main thing. Actually, I really want to know, because when I make these, like, I want to stop and use half an hour of explaining each habitat and talk about the animals. But I also want to have this video in a compressed version where you can see what you need to see and nothing else. And I have a tendency to just go on a rant, once in a while. So yeah, I'm not sure of anything at this point. I don't have a name for the next zoo. I don't have the idea like popping into my head. I kind of want to make a future live soon at a point, but I also really want to build with the new animals, and they will not all fit with that. So I'm not sure what to do, and I need to figure it out before Tuesday. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we need to end this video. I do believe, if you're still here, sorry, I just need to remember that I say anything I want to say, because I know when I stop the camera, I will probably remember something I forgot. But I really hope you enjoyed all of this. I really hope you want to see more of my channel. And honestly, I do not often ask people or tell people to like a video. But if you're still here, you probably liked the video. So please do show me that. And yeah, as always, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.